let's talk right now about the NHS. It's the National Health Service, not the International Health Service. But whenever there are reports about foreign patients not only just coming over and using our NHS, basically, if you're getting an operation on the NHS and getting treatment on the NHS, you're putting someone who's here, British and entitled to the NHS, down the list. It's as simple as that. But when you don't even pay for it, when you're due to pay for it, then we start getting a bit angry. But we're looking at more than £250 million being owed by foreign patients because of failures to properly check they were actually entitled to free NHS treatment when they weren't. Well, let's talk about this with Dr. Laurence Gerlis. He's a GP at Same Day Doctor and a former NHS GP for over 30 years. Laurence, thank you for joining us.
Hi, good afternoon.
I was looking at this story, and again, this is sort of perennial that comes up about hospitals, not asking, not checking. 256.4 million is what we believe is, owed to the NHS, and basically it's just they just simply don't ask, they don't check, and then they don't ask for the money even when they do check. I think that is a fraction of what it really is, having spent enough time in London hospitals. Now, in no way am I suggesting anybody, because they've got a foreign accent, isn't entitled to be. People who are here for many, many years, pay taxes here, who are totally entitled to use the NHS, of course. But it seems to me that there is no one at any point when you go to hospital whoever asks for any ID, any checks on who you are, where you're from, why you're entitled to your care here. They have no way of knowing how many...
You just have to give an address in the UK, and you don't even have to do that. This is going back when Tony Blair brought in the identity card idea. I was all in favour of it. The civil liberties people were against. I was all in favour of it for this very reason, because if you have your UK identity card, you just show that, and that proves your entitlement to NHS healthcare. It would have been very straightforward. And I think we probably missed that boat, but maybe we could.
No, I don't think that everybody. I don't think that when I go to hospital, should be required to use an identity card to prove that I'm eligible. I think it's pretty obvious when someone you would question, because they would say it was racist because you know that's what. There must be an easier way around this. Arguing it's so funny. I always think whenever I go to get a prescription at the quick one up at the chemist, and they say, do you pay for your prescriptions? And I say, yes, someone has to. And I always think, what would happen if I said no?
I can tell you the answer to that, Julia. 90% of prescriptions are dispensed free of charge. There's widespread fraud. It's a silly system. You're probably the only person. There are pharmacies in parts of England who never take money for a prescription because everyone just signs the back. So
I can't risk that. I would lose my job if I'd commit that. That's a criminal offence, isn't it? I would have thought.
It's fraud, yes.
Again, my thing is I obey the law. I'm old-fashioned. I think you should obey the law. But this is the thing. I just think that. So even if they ask people, you get fake ID. Look, you can get fake driving licences. Frankly, I can't tell the difference between the two of them. I'm pretty sure that people could get around any of these things. There must be a simpler and easier way. Part of my issue is I don't think anyone should be in the country who hasn't got health insurance. I think if you come to this country, even as a tourist, you should be required to have health insurance. I don't think that's unreasonable.
There's another thing. Anyone is entitled to emergency care.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But what's an emergency? Does a woman who pitches up with a complicated twin pregnancy, this happens quite frequently, comes from abroad, early stage of labour, that's an emergency. It certainly is. That's going to be down. The cost is going to be down to you and me.
Yeah. And that happens on a grand scale in certain London hospitals as well. We know that. But this is the thing. No one really knows what the answer is to do that. There's a lot of admin. And we know admin in hospitals is pretty poor anyway. It's too much hassle, not worth it. No one cares. They're the person, the receptionist at the A&E, the doctor, the nurse. It's not their money they're spending. They're just doing their job. And I completely understand a doctor saying, well, I'm going to treat the person in front of me. But at the end of the day, this is not cost-free. Not only are we paying for it, even though it's a national health service, not an international health service, but it also puts people to the back of the queue. If there are people who aren't entitled to that healthcare who are getting treatment, they're pushing you back. So we end up paying for it. We can't afford as many nurses. We can't get as much treatment, and we wait longer for our own treatment. So we have every right to be angry about this.
Yeah, but we've got the admin. The administrators shouldn't be sitting in their offices drinking coffee. They should be down on the shop floor with credit card machines, like they are at the private hospital.
Oh, and they really are. The private hospitals, they won't even look at you unless you provided a credit card and they've checked it.
And they'll take £15,000 off your credit card as you walk through the door as a deposit. and you know that they've got an organisation to run, they've got salaries to pay, and they've got costs, and that's how the NHS should be thinking as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I don't know why, but again, why do people think we've got duty of care? Tell you what, you go to any other country in the world and you expect the same treatment. Good luck with that, is all I can say. Just finally, I do want to ask you about a story today about how they're going to tackle Britain's sickness crisis, yet another plan that never seems to involve just telling people you're not really sick, who are we kidding? An army of health workers to be sent door to door, we're told, in a radical scheme to basically, they're going to roll it out across 25 parts of England, and basically they're going to just send people onto streets, knocking on the door, saying, you know, do you have any health problems? Aren't we just going to come up with more health problems rather than fewer?
Totally. There's a lot of hubris here. An army of health workers. Who are these health workers?
Where are they coming from?
Where's the money coming from? Where's the money going to be taken away from? You know what happens with these schemes? It's more cost, and it doesn't save. It's supposed to save money at A&E, at GPs. It won't. It's an additional cost. It won't work. Look, I'm a fan of Wes Streeting, but I think he's overreached this time. This A won't happen and B won't work if it does happen. It will just waste money.
Do you know what? That's literally a summary of most government policies. It won't happen, and if it did, it wouldn't work.